Hi, it's Nana Diana here, and I have a book today that is a little bit long, so we'll probably read it in two parts, each about 10 minutes. And the book is an old one and probably out of print as well. It is called The Cherry Migration. And this is a story. I don't know if you know that much about when you go and get an ice cream sundae or a milkshake and they put a cherry on top. Sometimes those cherries come from a place we're going to learn about in this story. So let's get started. Kids always like long stories because they don't have to go to bed until they're done, right? The Cherry Migration. One day, in a famous restaurant in a great city, the man who makes sundaes and sodas and creamy cold milkshakes ran out of cherries. He walked down to the basement and opened a great metal door that led into a refrigerator as big as a bedroom. He grabbed a jar of cherries from the shelf and went back to the kitchen. It was a big jar. You would need both hands to carry a jar of this size, and it would take hours to count how many cherries were inside. The soda jerk, that's what you call the man who makes sundaes and sodas and creamy cold milkshakes, used these cherries to top the whipped cream that covered his icy desserts. The cherries were almost perfectly round. They were shiny and of the most wonderful red color. When the soda jerk opened the jar, all of the cherries let out a sigh of relief. The soda jerk thought it was just air escaping from under the lid. That was probably because he was busy and he wasn't paying attention. Phew! Wow! Where are we? What's happening? Calm down, everyone. Take it easy, said a nice plump cherry near the top. His name was Plover. I'll see what I can find out. Hey you, up there. And here is our first picture. And the soda jerk has opened the big jar of cherries. And there are quite a few cherries in there. Maybe too many for you to count. Plover was yelling at another cherry who sat on top of a sundae high up on the counter. Hey, what's going on? Are you talking to me? Said the other cherry. Yeah, shouted Plover. What is all this? Well, I'm not sure, answered the cherry, but I think... And just then, a waitress came by, and she grabbed the sundae that the cherry was sitting on. He only had time to yell, I think we're going to a party. Immediately, all the cherries inside the jar started cheering and whooping. A party? Yeah, a party. Hooray! Party time. Me first. No, me first. No, I want to go first. Whoa, that cherry did go first. The soda jerk had grabbed him and plopped him into a squishy pile of whipped cream. All the cherries in the jar waved goodbye. Drop us a postcard, drop us a line, don't forget to write. And away he went. And here, that cherry has been plucked out of the jar and put on top of that soda or milkshake. And he's a little bit afraid, but he thinks he's going to a party. And here the rest of the cherries are still in the jar. And they're all so excited. Me first, no, me first. And things continued that way for some time. Each cherry anxiously awaited his turn to be plucked from the jar and sent to the party. But Plover began to suspect that something wasn't right. Why hadn't they heard from any of their companions? If this is such a good party, why didn't anybody say so? Listen, he said to a couple of his close friends, if one of you gets picked, make sure you yell down and tell us what's going on. All right, sure, sounds fine. Whatever you say, woo! And up went that cherry, and in seconds he was sitting on a banana split overlooking the entire restaurant. Hey, what do you see up there? Shouted Plover. I can't see much, came the reply. There's a lot of people sitting around. Some people are running around. I think some are talking. I don't see any of us. No, wait, yeah, there's Fred the cherry. Yeah, it looks like Fred. It is Fred. He sees me. He's waving. He's being lifted. Oh no, this is no party. They're eating us. What? Are you sure? Yelled Plover. But there was no reply. The cherry on the counter had already been whisked away. And so now bad news has come back to the cherry jar that apparently it is not a party. And once you get plucked from the jar, somebody's going to eat you. The day carried on, and the number of cherries in the jar grew smaller and smaller and smaller. When the restaurant finally closed late at night, the jar was already half empty. Many of the cherries were crying. Some were sobbing, and all of them were very unhappy. Listen, everyone, it was Plover again. Listen, we have got to get out of here. I don't want to be eaten. Neither do we, said the rest of the cherries. Neither do we. All right then, said Plover. I've got a plan. Everybody jump. The soda jerk had not screwed the lid back onto the jar. Instead, he had only covered it with a piece of plastic food wrap. Every cherry began jumping higher and higher until they were all bouncing off the plastic wrap. Blap, 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 blap. Slowly, the plastic wrap began to loosen and the edges came free, and then it was off. Hooray, hooray, cheered the cherries. Good going, everyone. Now let's get out of here. Plover was a very good leader. Each cherry jumped through the opening and landed with a little squish on the counter. Squish, squish, squish. There was well over 200 cherries rolling around, bumping into bananas and knocking spoons noisily to the floor. And here they are, just as they broke through that plastic wrap, and they're just about to be free. They had to jump quite high. Ooh, look at some of the other toppings you could have if you were having an ice cream sundae there. That looks pretty good. I love ice cream sundaes. I don't know about cherries on top anymore. Order, everybody, order. We need some order. Sydney, be quiet. Harold, Eloise, line up. Everyone line up. Get a buddy and stay with your buddy. Let's get moving. So they created a line, quite a long line, side by side. 2 cherries, 2 cherries, 2 cherries, 2 cherries, 2 cherries, more and more and more and more. Plover stood at the front and looked down the line at all of his friends. They were all depending on him. He couldn't let them down. All right, cherries, get ready. Forward, roll, because they couldn't march. So they just said forward, roll, because they were going to roll. And off they went. They rolled across the counter, and when they reached the edge, they each gave a little leap and landed on the floor in a pink splash. Ouch! Oh my! Oh dear! Yippee! Shh! Quiet! Ordered Plover. If we make too much noise, we'll be discovered, and then we'll be done for. But where are we going? Asked a very small cherry named Byron. Plover paused for a moment. Where were they going? I'm not quite sure, he said, but we're going someplace far away from here. And here they are, lining up 2 by 2, and just getting ready to jump off the counter and roll across the floor. Looks like it's going to be quite the adventure. Then onward they rolled in a perfect column. They rolled all around the kitchen, and then under the dining room tables, and then over by the bar. They rolled into the bathrooms and into the storage closet. They bumped themselves against the wash basin. They crashed into chair legs. They went down the stairs to the basement. They couldn't get out, so they had to hop back up again. They rolled under the jukebox, and they tripped over the electric cord. For hours and hours, they rolled around until finally they bumped into the front door. Plover looked up. He could see a little slice of moonlight shining in through the bottom of the mail slot in the door. Ooh, what a nice place that looks like, he thought. He turned towards all the cherries behind him and called out, "Come on, everybody, I know where we're going." Just then, the wall clock began to strike midnight. 2 by 2, those cherries jumped through the mail slot, 2 by 2. And as the clock chimed its last stroke, the last 2 cherries jumped through the slot, and the restaurant was left quiet and still. And here they are, jumping through the mail slot, back to the outside. That's the slot the mailman used to put the mail through the door. And they have found a way out.